What's up, guys? What's going on? My name is Tyler Jones. For many of you that don't know, I'd like to thank each and every one of you so far for rocking with me on this journey on YouTube, social media. Just wanna just want to touch on some things, right? Want to touch on some things from me being out. As you guys can tell, I'm not in the office right now. I'm doing the usual reaction videos, and obviously, I got a lot more content coming you guys' way outside of just reaction videos. A lot of informative videos, financial literacy videos coming your way. But um, this year, took the family out to two different islands internationally. One was Aruba. I've been there before, and now we're currently in Carousel. Christmas was yesterday, but I'm not sure when I'm gonna upload this. Maybe the day after Christmas, maybe 2, 3 days after Christmas. Um, Obviously, when I'm on vacation, that's time to be with family and things like that. And so I haven't been pumping out as many videos as I usually do, but still felt like this was important since I have a little bit of free time. I think the topic of the day is you got to get out of your hood. You got to get out of your hood. You got to get out of where you're from. You got to get out of a 5 to 10 mile radius of where you're from, right? And I wanted to bring that to the viewers' attention because, quite frankly, I think 2 weeks ago I was speaking to a youngin, right? And obviously, it's going to depend on your socioeconomic status, right? It does take money to travel, but at the end of the day, if you're able to travel, let's say through school, going to college, going to a different state, even though I do preach, don't take it on a whole bunch of college debt. But if you're effectively able to go out of state to go to school, or let's say you want to do a trade, or if you want to be a truck driver, and that gives you the opportunity to see the United States at least, then do so. I'm always an advocate of that, right? My great grandparents, my grandparents, they never traveled. They never traveled. Obviously, now we're talking about the early 1900s and mid 1900s, but they never had the opportunity to travel like that and actually experience what the world is like. I've traveled internationally. I've been everywhere domestically, United States, that is, for all my European viewers that I have out there. But me traveling opened up my mindset, right? It did a couple things for me. It opened up my mindset of what's actually possible, right? If you're staying in your same hood, if you're staying in your same environment, it don't even have to be the hood, your same environment in general. This goes for all demographics. Staying in the same environment, you're never gonna know what's out there. Your brain is only gonna go, let's say, by a 10 by 10 box. You see what everybody else sees. If everybody is stagnant, they're on the same level, you're not going to know that there is another level to go, right? And obviously, social media has changed things. You obviously don't have to travel to see what's out there, but there's a difference between seeing it through a phone, seeing it through a phone, and actually experiencing it firsthand, right? I'm gonna because I done looked it up. I done talked to the lady. She does Airbnb. Obviously, I got a big mansion off of the coast of Carousel. You guys can look directly below. If I move the camera, we have direct ocean access. Just things you never would have thought was possible. I was able to network with that lady, and actually, she gave me some insight on her business from an Airbnb perspective, right? I'm more so of a mid-term and long-term renter, but that's a video for a conversation for another video. But Airbnb has a completely higher upside when it comes to revenue, but obviously it takes a lot more work. But even then, just being able to network with the owner of this beautiful $2 million home off of the cliff of Carousel, the amount of knowledge I was able to get from her, just GP talking to her, talking about her business strategy and things she planned on doing next, I would have never got that staying in where I'm from, Decatur. I would have never got that staying in Decatur, where I'm originally from. I grew up Flat Shoals, Boulder Crest Road, Gresham. I would have never got that insight. I've been to so many different places, and I was able to soak up a gang of knowledge from different people around the world. There's so many cultures, so many different languages. And I always preach people, your net worth is your network. The people you ultimately surround yourself around is who you're ultimately going to become. A lot of people don't believe that, but I'm here to tell you it's actually true. It's actually true, right? If you're stagnant at that job and everybody's making 50, 60, $70,000 a year, and you've never ran into somebody that may be doing the same position or have the same title as you at another company that's making 100, 120, 130, you're not even gonna know. You're not even gonna know. You're not gonna know that certain things are possible, right? And so I think as a human race, rightfully so, people are afraid to be uncomfortable. But I think it's more expensive. It's more expensive for you to be comfortable in your own environment than to be uncomfortable and experience growth. It's almost like working out, guys. You got to be uncomfortable. You got to go through that pain. And obviously, I'm not the biggest guy, but I feel like that's a great analogy, man. When you work out, you're putting your body through all that load, all that stress. I was an athlete, so I did work out. I did do Olympic lifts. That's what most track and field people do, Olympic lifts. When that muscle breaks down, it rebuilds itself, but you got to go through an uncomfortable state to get there. You got to get through an uncomfortable state to get there. And another thing for all the people that says, hey, well, man, traveling is expensive. I can't do this. I got that. For the ones that are young, right? Because we're no longer, going into 2026, we're no longer trauma bonding. We're no longer trauma bonding with the people we grew up with. We're no longer following the footsteps. Maybe we're beating teen pregnancy. We're beating the social media norms, falling into the debt trap. We're beating all that. And for the youngest, I would say put yourself in a position. Guys, I'm only 26 years old. I made my first $500,000 at 22. If you guys want to know a little bit more about that, I might do that in another video. I bought my first house at 22, right? The world is your oyster. There's no more excuses. I didn't come from rich parents. But what I did have was grit, grind, hustle. I guess those are all synonyms, same thing. Determination. And I knew that I wanted to be better. Mentally, I wanted to be better. Who would have thought 14-year-old Ty, 15-year-old Ty would be able to take his family on a vacation? Who would have thought, right? Man, I think ultimately it's a mindset thing, man. It's a mindset, and unfortunately my generation, we got babies raising babies. We got babies raising babies and they're not knowing no better. The day of age of you waiting until you're 30, my parents' generation, obviously every generation had kids super young. My great-grandparents, they were having kids in their early 20s, but they were able to sustain. We're no longer in a market to where we're able to sustain. You can't have a kid, or you can't start a family, or you can't get in a whole bunch of debt in your early years and bounce back. You can, but it's going to be extremely, extremely, extremely hard. So, man, you got to get out your hood. You got to see what's out there. And there was one other thing I had to write down, man, because I feel like it was so important, right? I had just thought about it and I wrote it down. Money moves. Here it is. Money moves where mindsets are advanced. Money moves where mindsets advance. Meaning opportunities don't avoid you. You avoid them by staying small. You avoid your opportunities by staying small. You really do. You really do. And so, guys, I don't want to long-wind this. I think you guys get the point. You got to get out where you're from. No more excuses. Travel, live, experience different cultures, experience different languages. No more excuses. Make something of yourself. Just because your mama went through teen pregnancy don't mean you have to. Just because your daddy was on the block selling crack, weed, heroin, cocaine don't mean you got to, right? Just because most people graduate college and feel like they need to now get in a whole bunch of debt because they deserve it, buying a new car, buying that expensive apartment, and they don't even have $1,000 saved to their name. Out there on the boat down there. They don't even have $1,000 saved to their name. gotta avoid the rat race. You got an internship out of the country, go take it. You got a job opportunity that might not be in the same state, but you don't want to leave because you feel like, oh, I'm gonna be uncomfortable, I don't know nobody. Man, screw them. Because at the end of the day, you only got yourself. You only got yourself at the end of the day. Nobody, I say this all the time to everybody that criticizes me for my work ethic and how hard I work. Nobody as a grown 26-year-old man is coming to save me. I gotta take that leap of faith on my own. I gotta take that risk on my own. Like they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. For the fellas, if y'all want me to make the analogy with women, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Just because she beautiful don't mean that you less than. Take the shot. You ain't gonna cash out green bean 100% of the time. All my 2K players, you ain't gonna green bean all the time. But at least you took the shot. At least you betted on yourself. And that's all that matters. Bet on yourself. I love you guys. I appreciate you for continuing to rock with me. Depending on how I feel, depending on if the family is okay with me pumping out some more videos, man, I'll crank those out for you guys. I love you. I appreciate you again. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Within just a week of me starting, man, I've gotten, I think, over 50,000 views, which I think is decent. Obviously, it's not millions of views, but obviously you guys are sharing the videos, you guys are liking it, but most of you guys aren't subscribed. Please subscribe, please like the video. If you find the content motivational, if you find the content useful, and like I said, we're gonna have a lot of financial literacy conversations coming out, a lot of videos dropping. See you on the next one. Peace.